Hey guys. Hey, welcome back to another episode on the modern day hippie. And I figured, season two is like, I forgot how many episodes we are in season two, but we're already in season two of my podcast. And honestly, I didn't expect it to go like farther than a hobby. So you can imagine my surprise when people actually started listening to it and viewing it and giving feedback and things like that. But yeah, we are here and something's different. Can you tell? Oh wait. Okay. Yeah, we're on YouTube now, y'all. I figured we're going into the new year. It's about to be 2025, y'all. We have literally like a week and like 3 days left. Hold on, wait. Tomorrow's Christmas Eve. And then, okay, 23rd, 24th, 25th, 26th, 27th, 28th, 29th, 30th, 31st. We have 8 days left. I don't know why I did it like that. We have 8 days left in 2024. And yeah, I figured the modern day hippie needed a change because originally I was just doing Spotify, and then eventually I began releasing things on Apple Podcasts, and it's been going pretty good. Actually, my like top episode, I think my Spotify rap said it was my episode with the Gnarly Boys. Now, if you haven't listened to that episode, definitely go and check that out. I am talking about Spotify exclusive episodes right now. So if you don't follow me on Spotify already, or if you haven't listened to the podcast over on Spotify, go ahead, because yeah, those episodes aren't going to be here on YouTube. Those are Spotify, Apple Podcasts. Um, what's the word I'm looking for? Yeah, those are just limited, like, those are special edition episodes. So you got to listen on the other platforms to get a hold of it. But it is on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. The link is in my bio on Instagram, because I actually think my Spotify name is like Lena underscore, but if you type in the modern day hippie on Spotify, it should pop up. Same thing with Apple Podcasts. Okay, anyways, enough promo. On to the good stuff. Okay, and we are doing Mindful Monday. Now, this episode isn't gonna come out on Monday, and that's my fault because it's been a really busy, hectic week, including the weekend. It's just been like really busy, especially with Christmas right around the corner. And I was doing all my Christmas shopping, and then also my best friend's birthday was this month. Well, two of my best friend's birthdays were this month. And yeah, I've just been kind of enjoying my time with the ones that I love, the ones that I hold close and dear to my heart. And it's been really relaxing, especially after school, because I did also just like in my first semester of college. And we are discussing embracing singlehood because I would say there's an epidemic right now, especially for my YA. My YAs. You know how we have YNs? Yeah, my YAs, my young adults, okay? So for my YAs, there's an epidemic. It's a situationship epidemic. It seems like everybody is kind of in this like energy of, we want real love, but we don't want to commit. We don't want the responsibility. We don't want the accountability. And that right there in itself is a red flag. Yes, I'm clocking your T if I'm looking at you. If you watching this video and you one of those people, that is saying exactly what I just said. Yes, I'm giving you the stank face. Anyways, it's a very toxic way to live. It's a very unhealthy way to live. And I don't think people are taking relationships as seriously as they should be, because it's not just some kind of thing where like they're like, oh, whatever happens, happens. When you get into a relationship, you're making a commitment to be now not only accountable for yourself, but accountable for the person that you're with. Relationships need to be taken more seriously, because it is not just a one person thing. You're having to take on and be held accountable for the feelings of a second person, the person that you choose to be in this relationship. Being single is not the end of the world. I've been in the boat where like I went through a bad breakup. Like, mind you, Spotify heard it first. Those that listen to the podcast on Spotify, y'all have heard the story before. But anyways, in my like first official relationship in college, okay, let me give y'all a little rundown. I met this guy on a dating app because for some reason it just wasn't working out for me in the 3D. Okay, so I was like, let me see what these dating apps are about. I'm 18. What the fuck do I have to lose? Okay, I met this guy. We ended up linking, and we were trying to watch anime. And I don't know, even off of like the first meeting, I knew that like our personalities, like in some places they meshed well, but in other places it was just like headbutting. He was a homebody, like a major homebody, and he had the same schedule pretty much every day. Like every day that I was with him, we would pretty much do the same thing. I got tired of it a little bit, but at the same time I was like, I'm not gonna give up. I'm not gonna give up, like I'm gonna make it work. I'm gonna make it happen, because I'd rather be in a relationship than be alone. Clock that T. That is going to be mistake number one that majority of people that get into relationships make. Are you getting into the relationship because you truly want to, or are you getting into the relationship simply because you don't want to be alone? You don't want to be by yourself. And when you think about it, like, we came in this world alone. We're going to leave out of this world alone. So if your main reason for jumping into relationships is solely because you don't want to be by yourself, I'm gonna need you, and I mean this with the utmost sincerity and love and affection. I'm gonna need you to come here. Come closer. Wake the fuck up, okay? Wake up. Wake up. If you cannot be by yourself, you cannot be in a relationship with someone else. Because then you know what happens? Codependency. You become completely reliant on this person for affection, for entertainment, for... It's just everything. You're gonna rely on this person to constantly keep you essentially going. And that's not how it's supposed to be, because at the end of the day, you're your own individual before you are a couple, I'll say. All right, so the difference between feeling and being. Feelings are temporary. They're constantly changing. They're not permanent. So you can feel a certain way, but that's not going to be that way all the time. It's just in that moment. Feelings are very fleeting, okay? They come and they go, which is why active listening is going to be more important. Like learning before you get into a relationship rather than waiting until you're in a relationship to do it. Because some people are great communicators, but they're horrible, and I mean terrible, listeners. But yeah, active listening is a great trait to learn before you get into a relationship rather than wait until you're in a relationship to learn it. Because actively listening to someone is not just simply hearing what they're saying, it's understanding what it is that they are expressing to you. And the only way to really like understand where a person is coming from is if you listen to the things that they're communicating to you or observe their actions towards you, okay? Being is showing up for yourself in the present, okay? Because sometimes us as humans, we tend to get really like caught up in our thoughts and our feelings and our emotions because we essentially like think we are the way we feel. I don't know if that made sense, but like my best way to explain it, being is something that I really have been having to work on with my therapist because I was I'm very like emotional, okay? I'm a very sensitive person. It does not take much to get me to cry, to get me to be angry. Whoa. It does take a lot for me to be angry, but like for me to express that I'm angry, it doesn't take a lot. But like sometimes because I feel angry, I would think like I am angry, and then it'll like the situation will blow up, and now I'm sitting in a position where I'm like, well, now I said a bunch of things I didn't mean, or I hurt somebody's feelings because I was angry in the moment, and I essentially let that just be who I am. Y'all catch my drift? Does that make sense? Did that make sense? Yeah, it got the little sister stamp of approval, so we're good. Emotional maturity, believe it or not, is going to put you into a position to where you're going to be an effective listener and communicator. Okay? Emotional maturity means that instead of being the type of person to when you know you're angry and you know something pissed you off, instead of being like, I'm fine, I'm all right, it's cool, it's no big deal, you're a person that says, you know what? That should hurt. Okay? My feelings are hurt. I'm hurt. Okay? Yes, in a relationship, you want to be able to listen, but there are toxic relationships where someone will take advantage of you. Maybe you're the person in the relationship that's constantly communicating how you feel. All right. And then you're doing your active listening. Okay. You're listening to what your partner is expressing, but then you're retaliating and saying, well, this is how your actions make me feel. Well, there are situations where people that don't have emotional maturity are going to essentially try to paint you out to be like overly sensitive or make you seem like the bad guy or make it seem like you're overreacting because, man, you always do this, you're always like this, or why can't we ever just... Yes, I'm speaking from experience, and every time I think about the shit, it makes my blood boil. It really makes me want to spin the block. I'll say spin the block. But yeah, emotional maturity. Emotional maturity is going to help you in the long run because you're going to be the type of person who can acknowledge how you feel instead of just having a bunch of suppressed and bottled up emotions, and now you're raging on everybody at every minor inconvenience because you don't know how to just talk about your feelings, accept your feelings, sit with your feelings. Okay, you don't always have to react when you feel something. Sometimes you feel something and it's meant for you to just sit back, reflect, and then revisit. Okay, because just attacking, like, for me personally, I know when I'm starting to feel intense emotions. I'm like, okay, it's already getting to a point to where I know if I keep letting it stack, I'm going to explode. So in those moments, I take a time to myself. I woosah, okay? Take my deep breath in, take my deep breath out, do my yoga, go for a run, go to the gym, like lift it out. I do what I got to do to make sure when I'm in an intense emotion, I'm thinking in a mindful headspace, okay? Because people that are mindful understand that, emotions are constantly changing, and just because you may feel a certain way, like you may feel a certain way from what somebody does towards you, it doesn't necessarily mean that that was their intention. And sometimes, you know, it could be hard to take a step back and really just be like, okay, well, let me analyze myself in this situation. Okay, not many people want to sit with their feelings because they think it's, I don't know. I know for me it was scary at first, but eventually it just became a thing where I'm like, okay, well, if I don't do it, I'm going to be constantly feeling like a ticking time bomb, and I don't like that. Also, word of advice, do not get into a relationship if you do not know how to handle your intense emotions or intense emotions, okay? Don't do it. Because if you can't even handle your intense emotions, what makes you think you're going to be able to handle a whole other person who you're having to learn about? Because you don't know that person. You're having to learn them from top to bottom. If you can't handle your own emotions, you can't handle another person's emotions. Therefore, go ahead and stay single. Go ahead and stay single. Accountability is when you're able to not only sit and be able to acknowledge what the other person did wrong, but you can acknowledge the wrong in you, okay? The wrong in your ways. You can acknowledge that, okay, yes, this person may have went off on me. Maybe they may have exploded on me. But if you know you were poking a sleeping bear prior to them, you know, being angry at you or however the situation may go, what did you expect was going to happen? And so in a lot of relationships, I feel like accountability, people can't, like people don't, I'm not even going to say people can't, because it's not that you can't, it's you choose not to, okay? But there are a lot of people, especially in Gen Z, okay? I speak for Gen Z because that's my generation, right? But a lot of y'all don't know how to like admit when you're wrong. Like, it's not that hard. It's not the end of the world. Okay? I can respect the person that sits and says, okay, what I did, how I treated you, the way that I responded to you, the way that, I did certain things, that maybe wasn't cool with me. Let me go apologize, whatever. If you're the type of person that cannot take accountability, or you're the type of person who doesn't even see anything wrong in anything you do, I'm gonna tell you your biggest red flag to look for in people. Anyone that you get into a situation with, you can clearly see that they did something that wasn't agreeable, and they're sitting there like everybody else is mad, and they're the only one sitting there like, man, why everybody acting like this? That's a red flag. Those are the type of people that can't take accountability. They're the type of people who's gonna sit there and gaslight you to believe that you really the fucked up individual, and really it's them. Stay clear of that, okay? You cannot be mindful if you cannot be accountable, because a part of being mindful is understanding how you operate, okay? Understanding your triggers, your anger. Well, triggers and angers can be the same thing. Your triggers, what upsets you, how you respond to certain well, that's triggers, but still, how you respond to certain emotions. You have to be aware of all of that, because nobody else can hold you accountable for your action. Well, people can hold you accountable for your actions, but I mean, if you really don't see nothing wrong, then a bunch of people telling you, you know, the sky is blue, and you still sitting here saying the sky purple. I mean, nobody could really make you believe anything, but definitely believe if I see you out on the streets, I'm probably walking on the opposite side of the street because I refuse. I honestly refuse. And it took me a long time. Well, I'm not gonna say it took me a long time. It did take me like a little while to really learn truly what accountability means, because I was the type of person where I take accountability when I thought it mattered. Okay, you know, when I thought Santa Claus or Jesus Christ or the Easter Bunny was watching me, I was like, yeah, if I did something, I'm gonna take accountability. But no, taking accountability is even when somebody else is not calling you out on your bullshit, you're able to smell it yourself. Okay, because you don't need other people smelling your shit to know that it's shit. Like, let's just be for real. Self love. I am a huge advocator for self love. Okay. I honestly believe that if you truly love yourself, you'll let yourself be single. Okay. I say that because you understand, if you're able to accept singlehood, you're able to understand that it's not you, okay? It's not always you, and it's not always someone else. It's just you know what you can and cannot tolerate, what you are and are not ready for. Now, granted, you can't control everything, but being able to say, look, I just got out of this relationship a couple months ago. Even though I really want to date, I really want to get back in that field. Let me take some time to myself to just do a little soul searching, because you can literally find something new about yourself every day. I've literally done it. I've literally been doing it damn near on an everyday basis. I'm not even kidding. Okay. Being able to love you more than you love that person, because a lot of people get into relationships and now they're completely lost in the sauce because they're giving all their time to that one person. Now they're getting texts from their friends because their friends don't, like, we don't hang out enough. When are we gonna like hang out? Now you're getting text from your mom, your dad, when are we gonna see you again? Cousins, family, it doesn't matter. It is so easy to be completely focused on one person in a relationship, but really in a relationship, yes, you should be very observant of that person, but your world should not revolve around them. And that's where self-love comes in. That's where thank you for the approval snaps, little sis. But that's where self-love really shows up, because you have the ability to, in a relationship, no matter the circumstances, you will always put yourself first. And that's what you're supposed to do in a relationship. Self-love means, if I'm in a relationship with someone, yes, you are very important to me. Yes, you mean the world to me. But you are not the world for me. Okay? We're experiencing our world, because at the end of the day, I'm still an individual and so are you. Too many people get in relationships and now there's codependency off it because this person can't sleep, eat, breathe without texting and getting a response back like that. I used to be one of those people where, like, I wouldn't even get out the bed before I got that good morning text, and then I'd start my day, and then I do all this stuff. I am not proud, but I'm so glad I found my worth. Okay? Because that would have been almost 3 years of my life. 3 years. And it would have been a waste of time. But I digress. I'm not gonna get into it. You have to know your worth. Never settle for less. Never settle for something because you feel like there's nothing else better out there. There is always. As long as you're working on yourself, improving yourself, building a foundation for yourself, living for yourself, there is always going to be something better out there. You might one day be walking down the street and some random man feeding the ducks thinks you're pretty cute. Or maybe you're at the coffee shop and the barista keeps making googly eyes at you. Like, you never know what could happen. And don't say that's delusional, because it could happen. Okay? It could happen. It could happen. Right? Now, me saying, like, running into Nam June on the streets, like, but I'm not going to get into that, because, it's not delusional, but it's wishful thinking, okay? Because that man is, like, global superstar. He would not be on the streets without at least 3 rings of security. I'm going to just say that now. That man is a hot commodity. Definitely treat yourself how you want to be treated, okay? Because people are going to treat you the way you allow them to. So if you aren't treating yourself well, I wouldn't expect that you would really catch on. I guess I want to say, like, I know if you're not treating yourself well, you're not really thinking about the way other people are treating you, because it's like whatever little grain of attention or love or affection that you're getting from whoever, as long as you're getting it, it doesn't matter how. It could be as little as they wanted to, and you wouldn't care because you're getting it. But no, that's breadcrumb. And mental health, your mental health is always important. Make sure that you're always checking in with the little you upstairs, okay? Because I've been in a toxic relationship. I know how it can get in the brain being in a relationship. Also because this episode is not even about being in a relationship. Being single, you definitely need to prioritize your mental health, because we live in like a society where romance is like romanticized. Like, it's honestly, there's not a single there are so many things in media and culture that always glorify this ideal love, this ideal partner. I know for a fact, because I get the little ping messages. I'm guilty of watching them little tarot readings. What your person thinks of you, this is gonna be your future soulmate. We live in a society where they're going to show you what you want to see, because that's how they make their money. It's how they make their money. But then people get stuck in these unrealistic expectations of how things are supposed to go, which is why being single and taking care of your mental health is very important, because I know what it feels like to be single. It feels like shit, especially when everybody around you is like it seems like they're in happy, committed, loving relationships. And maybe they actually are in happy, loving, committed relationships. But when you're single, it's easy to be envious. It's easy to be petty. I literally posted something on Instagram, and it was so funny. It was like, if it was about matching PJs, and I was like, yeah, anybody that posts matching PJs is getting blocked. I'm being dead ass, but not dead ass. Like, I'm just kidding. But y'all cute. That's gonna be exactly. I'm gonna scream, cry, throw up, and I'll be like, y'all cute though. Y'all see my little hearts and be like, oh, so cute. Like, why can't that be? But anyways, I know it's gonna be me one day, because look at me. I don't just look like a 10. I am a 10 from the inside out, okay? Matter of fact, I'm bigger than a 10. I'm bigger than a 10. I'm like a rare collectible. All right, healing from heartbreak while being single. I guess this is a perfect thing to transition to after mental health, because I definitely know that there is a lot of people that get stuck in blaming themselves when a relationship goes to shit, and now they're in a situation where they're single. It's very easy to blame yourself for the reason why the relationship went wrong. But the way that I've started having to take everything is like it's a lesson. Okay, don't take every experience personally. Some things were meant to teach you something about life, about yourself. I know in every relationship that I've had or situationship that I've had that's gone wrong, I've definitely made it my business to, after the relationship, take a step back, analyze it as a whole, and be like, okay, I need to do less of that, more of this. Like, I definitely realized after my last relationship, I needed to do more self love. I needed to prioritize myself more because I would literally, like, I would put him over everything. And it wasn't even like he was doing anything for me, like, emotionally, spiritually, physically, yeah, but he was not checking off all the boxes. And yeah, I got caught up in like coulda, shoulda, woulda. Okay, I was like, he could be a good guy. Don't be like me. Don't be like me, please. I'm begging you. I'm begging you. Don't end up like me. But yeah, hurt people hurt people. So don't let that be you. Okay, don't let that be you. Don't become a bitter sourpuss after a relationship goes bad and now it's fuck love, all of this. Like, it's not that deep. Okay, it's not that deep. If you were the issue in the relationship, fix it. If you weren't, what should I do more of? What should I do less of? What did I do too much of in that relationship? What did I do too little of? What did I not acknowledge? What's like, there, you can take lessons out of anything in life, okay? Not everything is meant to be an L. Not all L's are losses. Lessons starts with L, okay? So think of it that way. Closure. You don't need it. Closure is not a necessity to be able to be done. Closure is what we all want, but it's not something that we're always going to get. Yeah, there are some relationships where maybe you can get that final closure, but there are way more relationships where you're not going to find closure, and it doesn't matter how much you look for it, how many times you ask why, how many spirit ancestor guides you ask, you're not going to get that closure, because at the end of the day, it's not for you to know. Okay, why something didn't go a certain way is not put in your life for you to sit here and question why. Okay, yeah, maybe you could think about it in the sense of, okay, that didn't go well. Why? Was it me? Like, did I do something? Well, no, because then that leads into like victim mindsets or whatever. But closure is something that a lot of people use as an excuse to hold on to something when it very clearly needs to be let go. Yes, you know, sacrifice comes big or small, okay? But do not sacrifice for yourself for someone who wouldn't do the same for you. And when you're constantly on the search for closure, you're sacrificing your sanity at the sake of just keeping like having some form of familiarity. Okay, that's what it seems like. But regardless, I was just trying to say, like, don't give more than what you're receiving. Never that, okay? Because people get comfortable with that. People get real comfortable with that, and they'll take that shit and they'll run with it. We don't need it. Romantic love isn't the only type of love, guys. Like, there are so many other types of love. There's platonic, familiar. You don't only need romantic love. I know it's something we all want, but it will find you when it's the right time, okay? You don't have to go on this wild, like, most people be doing like hot girl summers and things like that, you know, when they're experiencing heartbreak, because I don't know, I guess that's just the moves after we deal with the bad breakup. Well, I'm not gonna say we. After some people deal with the bad breakup, it's you like, yeah, hot girl summer, man, fuck love. this shit. Like, I'm gonna do what I'm gonna do, and I'm gonna look good doing it. But no, okay? Being single is not that deep. Especially if you weren't the problem. All that's gonna happen is you're gonna get prettier or handsomer, whoever's watching this, you know. You're just gonna look better. You're gonna feel better. You're gonna be doing better. Okay? So don't get caught on, like, it doesn't matter how long you're single, okay? Now, obviously, some people don't want to be single their entire lives, but, like, there's no, like, you can't really tell, okay? And as long as you're putting yourself out there and not, like, shutting down and then becoming this toxic person, you're gonna find love, okay? It's gonna find you, okay? It's gonna find you. So you don't have to, like, have it right when you want it, because it's never gonna be there when you want it. It's gonna be there when you need it. Amen. Amen. And with that, okay, there are worse things in the world to happen, okay? There's literally famine, there's starvation, wars going on, okay? Hunger. There are tons of horrible things, and that's not me saying, like, being single is not bad. It's pretty bad. Like, no, let me stop. Like, it feels pretty bad, but it's not the worst thing to happen, and it's not gonna be that way forever, okay? As long as you're doing the work, you're gonna be okay. You're gonna be all right. It's gonna find you, okay? Instead of, like, so instead of beating yourself up for being single, just go with the flow, okay? Ride the wave. See what you never know what could happen, okay? Every day is a new adventure waiting to happen. You just gotta take that step, okay? It's not gonna happen with you just going on some type of, I guess, a hate train. I don't know what to call it, but yeah. There's no need for all of that. There's no need to swear off love, okay? Because it hasn't sworn off you. And it won't. Keep your head up, okay? You won't be single forever. And with that being said, that concludes today's episode on the modern day hippie. Now, I really appreciate you guys for tuning in. If you did, don't forget to leave a follow. Drop an evil eye in the comments if you made it to the end. Let me know what you think. Any questions, comments, concerns, ideas. I'm always open to know what you guys want to see on the podcast or want to hear on the podcast. So definitely hit me up. We do have I have like two kind of like New Year's Eve episodes. So one is really what 2024 has taught me so far. I'm looking forward to recording that one. Very excited. And then I will have a special guest next year. Yes, more on that in the next episode. I'm not going to spoil it too much because, you know, gotta add a little excitement, okay? Gotta add a little, you know, spadazzle, you know? Just a little, je ne sais quoi, you know? Anyways, so yeah, thank you for tuning in. And I really hope that I could see you guys in the next episode. Yeah. Bye.